love, so welcome back to my channel. It is Kedisar, and today I will be talking about how to actually love yourself. Now, we're getting deep into this topic. It's going beyond just looking at yourself in the mirror, giving yourself affirmations. Not that those things aren't good, but that just simply scratches the surface. So based off my own research on this topic over the years, what I've heard people say continuously is when you love yourself, or when you develop your self-love, you show up for yourself. You develop more discipline. You do nice things to yourself. You say kinder thoughts to yourself. You invest more in your health. You wake up early. You do the things you say you're gonna do. And I think these are great starts to the journey, because if you don't trust yourself, it might be harder to love yourself. So if there's no discipline and you don't follow through on anything you say, that can create a shaky foundation for sure. But what I'm talking about is how to love yourself beyond all other things, beyond all else. So the first way to love yourself, the foundation upon everything I'm going to be touching on, is you have to know yourself. If you don't know yourself, how can you love yourself? Who are you loving if you don't even know? Who's the who that's being loved, It's just like if you have a relationship, or romantic or non-romantic, if you don't know them, it's harder to have deeper intimacy with them, like emotional intimacy and deeper love and connection with them. The deeper you know someone, the deeper the possibility is for you to love them. So in order to know yourself, you have to spend time with yourself. You have to learn yourself. If you fear being in isolation, you have to get over this fear. And when I say isolation, I just mean solitude. You have to learn how to just be with yourself and to enjoy your own company. What I did myself was I decided to start dating myself. I decided to approach myself like a potential lover, or even best friend, or just someone you want to be super close with. And I decided to date myself. And this doesn't mean going to cute restaurants, doing fun things. It means asking the hard questions to yourself, truly getting to the root of who you are. What do you like? What do you dislike? What are your fears? What are your desires, your aspirations, your goals? What's your personality beyond goals and aspirations? Who are you? What is your core? What is your essence like? What is those traits that people pick up on and experience your uniqueness through? My advice for getting to know these about yourself are two things. The first is daily journaling. This journaling doesn't have to be super deep and uncovering your pain and shadow work and trauma. This is just getting to know yourself. If you were dating someone, what would you ask them? What would you want to find out about them? So you want to sit down, and I do this every night because I'm still developing this within myself. Come a long way. But you want to sit down nightly, make it a routine, make it a ritual to sit down with yourself and have a daily or a nightly prompt that you ask yourself. Really schedule this time as if it's a date with yourself, and imagine you're at a candlelit dinner and your date sitting across from you, and you guys are asking each other intimate questions. Think of it like that. Light your little lamp, light some incense, whatever you want to do, but sit down with yourself and really commit to this. Write down just one prompt per night. Ask yourself things that get down to how you really feel about certain situations in your life, what your present state is feeling like for you, because we don't always acknowledge that within ourselves, and other things related to your goals, your likes, dislikes, personality. There's a lot of journal prompts online. Just commit to that time with yourself every night, and you'll find out you're learning a lot about yourself. So the second way is through speaking out loud to yourself, actually talking to yourself. Now, I know that this can be a hindrance for some people for several reasons. They might not be comfortable doing this out loud in general. They might have people around them. But whenever you can get into a private, intimate space, I think it's super helpful. For me, it's abundantly helpful to talk out loud like I'm my own friend, because I am. And look in the mirror. Use the mirror as not just like scripted affirmations, but use your mirror work as time to look at yourself and actually talk off the heart. I think scripted affirmations are a great way to start, but eventually it's good to get to a place where you're able to go off the heart and tell yourself exactly what you need. So when I say talk to yourself, this can be affirming yourself. This can be asking yourself how you feel. This can be ranting to yourself. This can be saying something that's on your mind. Congratulate yourself on the things you've done. All those little things build up, and when you're saying it from the heart, looking at yourself in the mirror, that can make a big difference. So the second huge important way you can cultivate true love for yourself is through acknowledging, sitting with, and validating your emotions. Now this may sound simple, but this is huge because so many of us self-abandon every time we ignore how we feel. Every time our body tells us it feels one way and we act in the opposite way. This can be even as small as your body telling you you're full and you still eating extra food because you want to. Like you're ignoring your body. That's more of a physical example, but an emotional example could look like your body sending you messages via emotions, because emotions are messengers of the body and the spirit. So your body can be sending you emotional messages that this person makes me uncomfortable, they're too close. You might have anger welling up inside of you, or feelings of feeling invaded, like someone's being intrusive with their energy. And a way you can self-abandon is by ignoring that and continuing to engage with that person without setting a boundary. Another example could be you're really excited about an upcoming event or activity you're gonna do, and you have a set idea of how you think it will or should go. Then when you actually do that event or activity, at the end you don't feel so good about it, but you ignore yourself like, oh no, I'm just tired, I'm just this. Every time you do that, you're ignoring yourself and self-abandoning because your emotions, your body is telling you one thing, and then you're just ignoring it, sweeping it under the rug. So these are little examples, but these can get really big, like your body's telling you a way in which you feel violated or intensely hurt, like your inner child is speaking up about how this present moment is taking them back to something that happened to them when they were, a child. And you might self-abandon by just ignoring the emotion, bottling it up, repressing it. That's self-abandoning. That's your inner child. Your inner child looks at your present self as like your inner parent. So your inner child is going to you for help. They need help to control and contain and feel through their emotions that they don't understand. And you're just like, oh no, like I don't feel that way. I'm fine. I'm this, I'm that. Just explaining it away. So self-abandoning can never allow you to feel close to yourself, because part of this work is connecting with our inner child. So if we're ignoring what our sweet, innocent inner child is telling us and abandoning them every time they have an emotional need, how can we possibly expect to develop the deepest emotional connection of love? So you want to really start to develop emotional intelligence and tune in to what your body is telling you when it's telling you. Okay, emotions arise in the body, and you want to start to truly acknowledge how you feel and when, and sit with it. Don't judge yourself. This is key. And tell yourself, I'm with you. I'm here for you. I support you. Okay? And just watch the world of the difference that makes in terms of how safe you feel with yourself. Because if you have someone external, it's great to think of this in terms of another person when we think of our relationship with ourselves, so we can get some more perspective. But if this was someone else outside of us, and they didn't listen to how we feel. We were trying to tell them how we feel about something. We had a bad day and we just really need them to hear us. It's like, oh no, you're fine. Oh no, we're this, we're that. They just keep explaining it away, intellectualizing it. You won't want to get close with them and you won't feel connected to them or safe with them to be open and vulnerable. That's the formula to love deeply: open, vulnerable, safe. So this is huge. If you don't know how you feel about what, you won't know what things you like to do. You don't know what type of people to allow into your life. You won't know what makes you feel alive. You won't know what makes you feel low. There's so much that you need to learn from your emotions in order to know yourself and develop love for yourself, active love. The third thing is detach your worth from anything external. A lot of times we put our worth in our accomplishments, our productivity, what we can produce, how we look, how we perform. All of these external things we put our worth in. I know for me, for so long, if I was looking cute, if I was, I'm a dancer, so if I was killing it on stage every time I performed, if I was doing this, doing that, I would feel real good about myself. But the moment I mess up while dancing, or I have a bad hair day, or this, that, and the third, I felt like shit. So it shows that the love wasn't real. It was superficial and egotistical. That's what it's always going to be if it's based on anything outside of us. So you want to learn how to detach from this. And the way to do that is to give yourself reminders that your worth and worthiness exists outside of all else. Think of it like this. If you had a baby, would you place their worth and their deservingness of being loved on how much they smiled at you or how much they did this or that? No, babies are like the embodiment of our purest essence. So think of yourself like that. That purity still exists in you. You're worthy of existing just as you are. Like, really look at yourself and ask yourself, like, does me standing here, breathing, and existing mean that I have to prove my worth? Like, do I have to prove my worth just to exist and breathe in this moment? Like, really chip away at the layers and look at it for what it is. This is one of those things I would highly recommend affirmations for. Just look at yourself, say, I'm worthy of existing just as I am. With the crazy looking hair, with the crust in your eyes when you wake up, just start to affirm that to yourself at all times and begin to develop that unconditional sense of your worth. And the fourth and last thing I would recommend to actually love yourself is to be kind to yourself like an inner parent. No one in the world was parented 100% perfectly, and even if they were parented like amazingly, there's still an inner child within them now that needs to constantly be parented. So in this process of reparenting, you want to learn how to anticipate your own needs, get to know what it is you need through your emotional intelligence work, through your journal prompts, to get to know who you are, what you like, what you need, what you don't. So through that, you will learn how to anticipate these needs before they happen so you can meet these needs effectively and you don't go out reaching for other coping mechanisms like food, alcohol, entertainment to meet your core emotional needs. You want to be reliable, be consistent, show up for yourself, care for yourself, do all those other things that I mentioned before, have discipline and have room for yourself to just be. So through being that kind inner parent that sits with their child, like while they're upset, I'm here for you, what is it that you need? Here's this, here's that, how's that make you feel? Just being there for yourself in that way can really help you let your own walls down with yourself. and let your own self into your heart. Because that's what we're doing here when we're on this journey of self-love. And then that inner sweetness will start to develop. You'll have more gratitude for yourself. Like, wow, I really care about me. Sometimes I think of myself in the third person, like, she really care about me. Looking out for me, getting up when we say we're gonna get up, creating space for me to feel, not judging me, acknowledging my emotions, listening to me rant on the journal pages every night or rant out loud as I talk to myself. She supports me, like all this stuff you want to be able to say of yourself, and that is what will lead you to a deep emotional connection with yourself. So those are the 4 ways I have for you to actually learn to love yourself. It's beyond what you can produce and do. It's learning to love your core essence, the core of your being, and learning to understand that you are worthy just as you are, and begin to embody that. So this is already a long video. There's so much more I could say, so I will expand upon this in future videos. Let me know any questions or comments you might have. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace and love.